Welcome to the Milsurp Mic channel. I received a package in the mail in the last couple weeks that helped me get a couple of my firearms back into service, so I figured this would be a great opportunity to talk about where to look for gun parts for your Milsurps, as well as to find, oddball ammo. My last video on this channel was my Uberti Henry 1860. While this isn't a Milsurp, the place where I got parts to fix this is from a great place for Milsurp parts, Numrich gun parts. Now it's not numrich.com. I will say just Google, or as I'd recommend, DuckDuckGo it on NUMRICH, because it's not numrich.com, and I'm not going to put a link down there because that might get my channel a strike. But on these Ubertis, they are notorious for torquing the hell out of these little screws right here, and I actually ended up having to drill one of them out when I took this apart for my last video. So I needed, just these little screws here, and I have an 1866 as well from Uberti. So I went ahead and bought 4 screws in case I needed to drill the other screw out here, or I need to drill some of the screws out on that 1866. Since there is a free shipping with a certain dollar amount spent, I went ahead and did a little shopping. And if you remember from my RTI gamble, my M91 Carcano, one of them had a bolt that I just had to hit it to get it to go, and it just didn't track very well. So I went ahead and got a bolt housing off Numrich for this Carcano from a rifle that probably got cannibalized at some point. I took all the inside, the firing pin and everything, put it in that new bolt housing, and as you can see, it actually works really well now. Numrich is like one of the first places you should go to check out for parts for your Milsurps. Another great place to look is eBay. You wouldn't think about it since they aren't allowed to sell guns, but you can get a lot of gun parts from there, and you can get gun parts from all over the world. One of my favorite stories of the last year is my K98WZ, my Polish rifle. The rifle was, somebody told me about the rifle sitting in New York, but it was missing the stacking rod, so I looked for the stacking rod at various websites. The only one I could find in the world was this Eastern Ukraine on eBay. I went ahead and took the risk, bought it. It got to me within 3 weeks. I bought the rifle, and I have a very nice Polish rifle that it's worth about twice as much what I have into it now. Besides eBay, another place to look is Gunbroker, because this was also missing a screw in this barrel band right here. So I happened to be looking at Gunbroker for something else. For some reason, I went ahead and just looked up Polish rifles. Well, I noticed that somebody had a barrel band on there. So I went ahead and bought that, so I have the screw, and now it's complete. So I'm really happy with this rifle. Before I go on, I am going to ask that let me know in the comments below where you get your parts at. I'm not doing that to increase my YouTube engagement. I actually want to know. Going on a little bit more, many of you who watch my videos are also on Facebook and in many of the Milsurp and firearms groups. Many of you found this because I share the hell out of my videos in these groups. But a lot of, especially the firearm specific groups, like Carcano groups, or Mauser groups, or Mosin groups, or Winchester groups, or Colt groups. A lot of people have a narrower collection than I do, so they're more experts on it. They know good places to get parts. For an example, in a Carcano group, I was asking where to get an upper handguard for a Carcano TS. I had a couple good suggestions, and the one that seemed to work was actually a website in Italy. I actually ordered the the top handguard from someplace in Italy. Now you got to be careful on these Facebook groups. Make sure you look at the rules before you ask questions. Facebook does not like guns at all, and they don't allow selling at all. So a lot of these groups you can't trade anything gun related, so you got to be careful how you ask. Some of them, as long as you're asking questions, where can I get this? Can you give me a lead to it? Be aware of the rules. Be careful how you ask, but that is a great resource on how to find gun parts. And I'm sure on that end, there's something I don't get on that I probably should is different gun boards and gun forums. They're probably even more of a wealth of information. Finally, I'm going to talk about gun shows a little bit. Our gun show here has a couple parts tables where there's various parts in fishing tackle boxes. They have them labeled, all separated out. And there's one vendor at our gun show in particular. I've gotten several parts from him. I've gotten a lot of magazines, gotten various stripper clips there. Gun shows are a good source to look for parts. Related to finding gun parts, many times you have your Milsurps, you start getting to collecting and you want to actually shoot them, but there's hard to find ammo out there. One of the hardest ammos to find recently are 30-40 Krag. So, you go to the gun shows, like, you have to do the Danny from Milsurp World thing. You got to be there right away. Seems like 30-40 Krag, it just goes like that. Now, another source that I like to do, anything Milsurp related really, are proxy bid auctions. A lot of these gun auctions, they'll have lots of ammos at the end of them. So you got to check, scroll through those and check those out. This is where I recently obtained 40 rounds here of 30-40 Krag. I know I made a comment on a Battlefield Curator short recently. Some people flex with jewelry and cars. Other people flex by showing off they own Krag ammo. Well, here's my flex. And I actually have 80 more rounds coming in from another proxy bid auction, as well as some GP11 Swiss ammo coming in. So proxy bid auctions are a great way, and just for collecting in general. Now, be aware of the buyer's fee, as I've said before. But I've probably obtained a third of my collection on proxy bid. Finally, make sure you're in good with your local gun store. People will show up there all the time. My father just died. I had this random box of ammo, and that happened at my local gun store this week. There's just, and you can't put partial boxes on the shelf or whatever. So he invited me in, let me go through, and I picked. And I also bought some of the full boxes too in there. But I bought a bunch of Tokarev and Makarov ammo, a bunch of 32 ACP ammo. There was some 8mm Mauser on stripper clips and bandoliers. There's some 303 British, some 7.62 by 54R. I mean, I got a bunch of that ammo and paid a good bulk price for it. But the prize of that was the 31 long Colt I got out of there. I have a 1901 Colt military revolver that will definitely be a video in the future. Now I have some food for it, so I was happy to get these. So anyway, I'm just figured this would be a great opportunity to talk about where you get parts and some like things like ammo, and I didn't mention accessories, but these places are also great places to look for accessories like holsters, bayonets, etc. If you want to know more about collecting advice, click over here. Otherwise, please join the GOA, get $5 off with the link in my description. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a great day.